Ready.
Set.
Gamecast.
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to Ready Set Gamecast, a bi-weekly podcast about video games and time travel. I'm Bryce, and I'm joined by Bill and Ted's excellent Darian.
Yo!
And the time travelers, Teddy Chinaris.
Haven't seen that movie. Sorry.
Me either.
Same.
Me neither. Okay.
He's like, I just needed a second time travel reference.
I did. I just looked for movies with time travel
Dang,
and was
dude.
like, that works. So Darian, if you could travel to any year, which would you choose?
I wasn't expecting that.
It's in the outline.
2007.
When?
2007.
Why?
It's like the highlight of the emo post-punk music scene.
But you already lived through it. What
Yeah,
you
but
could-
I
you
would
could
like
go
to
a-
be older and live through it again and be able to not be so nostalgic about it.
like
'cause it
any
was
time
really
period
bad.
in history. And you go visit medieval knights, you know, samurai.
I feel like if I went too far back in time, I would automatically be murdered for being a witch because my hair is not a natural color. I'm good.
Well, yeah, I
with
mean,
the
you could
present.
dye it.
She does dye it. Oh, I dye it
I
normal.
do, yeah.
Oh, do it back into a regular color.
I wonder when people
Regular.
start dyeing their hair. You gotta figure they were dyeing it way back in the day.
I would. Well,
There has to be ways.
They started hair dyeing in like the early 20s or something like that. Like it.
I'm sure there was. I mean, maybe this proves your point, but maybe some witches back in the day were dyeing their hair. They had some crazy. They just took a handful of tomatoes.
The first hair dye came out in
That's all they did.
1907.
Smashed it against their head.
So Teddy, when would you go?
The question like this always involves follow-up questions, such as, how long are you there for?
Let's just say you have to live there. One way.
Oh, in
one
that
way
case,
travel.
that completely changes it.
One way travel.
If I have to live there, I don't want to go too far back. I don't want to go too far back at all. Can I go in the future?
Yeah, you can go any.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, we're going to 3,000. Just 3,000. Just solid, you know.
69.
You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, that's a good answer.
Thank you for saying that right into the mic.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Okay. Now that we've,
Wait, where would you travel? Or when? When
Yeah.
would you
I
travel?
didn't.
don't
I'm
get
the
to ask
question
it.
asker. I don't need to. I definitely.
No.
I definitely go into the future. I'd probably say 100 years from now. Nice.
Yeah, that's okay.
stuff.
That's pretty similar.
Stuff won't be too crazy different, but it will definitely be further along. That like
Yeah.
probably have cures for a lot of stuff, and just like we will have done all of the things we're trying to do now.
Yeah, if you
Be trying
wanted
to
to
do
just
things.
visit a time, though, that's a whole different story.
Okay.
There's a bunch of different places that I'd love to just visit, you know? But it wasn't the question, so.
Okay. Well, Darian, if you were going to play a game for the last 2 weeks, or several of them, what video games would you play? Or have you been playing?
I like that.
Okay,
That
so
was
which
good.
question am I answering? Because which ones
What
would
video
I
games
play,
have you
or
played
which
for the
ones
last 2 weeks?
Have I been playing?
You time traveled 2 weeks ago. You've been playing some games. What were they?
Well, you'll never guess, but I've been playing some League of Legends,
No, I thought
And
you were
some-
a Dota player.
some PUBG. I played a little bit more Cuphead. I played through Edith Finch one time, and on my trip to the cities again, I played some more Stardew on the Switch.
Have you done any of that vaulting on PUBG?
That's not out yet.
It's in
No,
the
that's on the
test
test
server.
server. I don't have the test server downloaded.
Is it like Blizzard stuff where you can just download the test server?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The PTR, as they would call it.
Well,
That's
and
neat.
I think when you initially install the game, it automatically installs it, but I uninstall it. Or maybe, no, I think actually I don't think it's uninstalled. It's just
You just didn't try it.
Oh, interesting.
I saw about
maybe you
the
should.
vaulting, and it's pretty buck wild. You can vault through windows. you can come in through a window of a house. So like, you got to be prepared for people
I
to
really
be
want
coming
to see
up everywhere.
incoming Twitch clips of people busting through windows and like turning directly into the corner and like shotgunning.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, so like if there's bars on the wall, you can't get in those. But if there's
Spitting them hot bars.
yeah, if it's just a glass window, you can jump right through it and spook them and such.
Yeah, all right.
I'll be curious if zombies will be able to do the same. I would assume they would.
Is that ever coming out?
Yes, if you are partnered with PUBG.
Is that ever coming out? I repeat.
Well, I mean, the problem with that is that the way that works for the partnered people is that
you get to be the one alive.
Yeah, your squad is the humans and everyone else is zombies.
It's kind of like if you were playing Friday the 13th, where instead of like 8 or 7 or however many survivors or campers, and then there's one Jason, only this time there's 99 zombies and one survivor.
Yeah.
One Jason. And that doesn't really work too well.
So, how do you get partnered with PUBG?
Become famous.
You gotta have 10 bajillion subscribers.
So if I'm not famous, I don't get to be a survivor. I have to be a zombie.
Right.
For now. Since it's only available to partners.
I'm not playing that game mode.
Well, you can't unless a subscriber invited you. Or partner, not subscriber.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not available to anybody other than partners, and they can like send out invites.
Yeah. Yeah, Polygon does weekly PUBG streams, and they often do zombie matches and stuff, so I've seen how that works out. I think the mode won't really work if it's open to the public, because like I don't think it's really that. I haven't been a zombie, but I imagine it's not really that fun to be a zombie if you're not playing with somebody that you're like jazzed to go kill.
I should probably look that up at some point. I'm sure there's zombie gameplay on YouTube.
I'm sure there is, seeing as I've seen it.
Alright, well that makes sense, yeah.
Yes, there is.
So you making progress on Cuphead?
I'm on the second world now.
That's about
Haven't beaten anything there yet, though. I entered the second world, and my mod was like, hey, go straight to the roller coaster. And that was infuriating. I kept getting to like the second part, I think, and I was like, what the fuck? How are you supposed to beat this?
Yeah, game is very hard.
It's very hard, but it's very good, very beautiful.
Get good.
I'm gonna keep playing it when I can.
And Edith Finch. Without spoiling anything, because that is a story-focused experience. What did you think?
It's very pretty. It's a very pretty game. And it tells a story in such a weird way. Like, when I started, I was like horrified. I was like, is this going to be scary? And I was using the keyboard at first, but then my controller vibrated, and I was like, oh, I can use my controller for this?
It was just already like plugged in and ready to, wow.
It's a wireless controller. And I can't remember what I was playing beforehand. I was probably playing Cuphead first, and then I was like, I need to not.
See, that makes sense. Interesting.
Yeah, so it was very pretty, and I had one active mod in the chat, and he hated it. But I was just like, this is so good, though. Like, it's so weird and just cool and just very different.
I hear it's very good.
It is very good. Isn't that one's possible for like Game of the Year, isn't it?
Yeah, it came out this year.
It's up for Indie Game of the Year on the Game Awards.
It could be our Game of the Year. You'll have to find out. But it's really cool that each family member, like the way you play through their story is different every time. So like both the art style and just how you interact with the world is vastly different. So each time you're going in, you're like, what am I doing this time?
Like the first story you do is so freaking crazy, because you just like, next thing you know, you're in it and you're just It's so weird, but it's so cool. My favorite story was like the older brother's story.
Yeah, that was
Like,
very cool of you doing two separate
really
things.
cool.
I made sure to never mess up a fish. I was constantly focused. Like every fish had to get its head chopped while I was working. Like,
Yep. I was the same way. I was like, this fish is get off my screen.
yeah, I need to be good at my job while I'm daydreaming. I can't be slacking here.
Right. Oh, this is a very good game.
Yeah, I think me and Darren are discussing doing a spin-off podcast that's going to be a focus on a narrative-focused game every month, and I think that's probably going to be our first one. So stay tuned for that sometime next year. Teddy, tell me what games you've been playing.
I've been playing quite a few things, such as Call of Duty World War II, which I talked a little bit about last time. Worms Battlegrounds, because man, that game is free on PS4 for PS Plus this November. Be sure to grab it. You still got some time. It's a 2D you're on one plane, right? You got 4 worms on a team. The other person has 4 worms. Let's say you're 1v1, right? You go online, you 1v1 with a friend. You spawn in with 4 worms, as I have already said, and it's pretty much just a turn-based, like, tactical, little silly game. I mean, it's very fun to watch. So I decided, I was like, for my Twitch channel, I was like, if I can get 7 other people to sign up, we can have a big tournament. So twitch.tv/TeddyChinaris, Monday, November 27th, 7 p.m. Central Time. Yeah, we're going to be doing a big tournament. We're going to do 4 games, and then 2, and then 1 grand final. Yeah, that's how that works. But yeah, so I've been trying to practice. I have lost so many games against, like, friends who just played it for the first time. So that's great. There was one game that I was winning by a large margin. Like, I had 3 out of my 4 worms, and they all had full health. And then the rest of them had, like, the other person had 1 worm, and the other person had 2 worms. And the one with 2 worms called down an Armageddon, which is, like, if you save up enough coins, which is like 120, it's the most expensive thing. You can call an Armageddon, which pretty much just rains down meteors, just randomly on different parts of the map. So it could, like, completely destroy you. But in his case, his worm took, like, 1 damage, and he killed all 3 of my full health worms, and he won the game. And I was very mad about it. But Worms is very, very fun. So I've been playing a little bit of that. And then Overwatch on PC a little bit, because I've had some friends been like, why don't you ever play on PC? And I was like, fine. And there's a new hero, Moira, who's live. And she's pretty neat. I won't play her, because I just like Diva and May. But I have a couple of friends who play her, and she's, I played her a little bit when she was first on the PTR. Me and a friend went in a custom match. They didn't both... We're not going to worry about that word. They didn't buff her ult, which I find very surprising, because her ult in the PTR was really weak, and it still is really weak. But she's out there, she's fun. And then Super Mario Odyssey still a little bit, a couple of streams here and there, a little bit on the go, on the Nintendo Switch, and a little bit of Destiny 2 PvP, not much, a little bit. And I've pretty much given it. Destiny 2 has slowed down a lot for me, because I keep trying to get 5 other people to do a prestige raid. And then I send out like a event invitation, like days in advance, be like, guys, come on, let's do it this night. Then I get there, and like 1 other person's online. I'm like,
Oh.
Okay. So I invite them, and then we mess around for like 30 minutes, and we're like, well, no one got on. No one's here. All right, guess we're not doing this. So I guess I'm just never going to do the Destiny 2 prestige raid until maybe Curse of Osiris. It's sad, but I've pretty much given up because it's frustrating. So, and I resubscribed to this little game called World of Warcraft. And whoo! It's a lot of fun. I love WoW. And every now and then I get cravings to play it, and I did when they announced Battle for Azeroth, and I started eating up, like, a bunch of YouTube videos on WoW and stuff, which I never, like, watch, and I was just wanting to play it so bad, and I was like, you know what? I resubbed, running around the Broken Isles. I got a Corgi pup as a battle pet literally 30 minutes before we started this, and it's adorable, and it barks, and it runs around with you, and it's great, and it's a good video game. Bryce, what have you been playing? Or if you want to talk about some things that I've been playing.
Yes, that's how this thing works, I guess. We mix it up every episode because it's a thing. Okay. Destiny 2. We got a little information of what the Curse of Osiris raid content is going to be.
Yeah, we did.
Can you tell me what that actually means?
Sure. Just for my own knowledge, have you seen it though? Like, have you seen them describe it and stuff like that?
I've heard like it's going to be content inside of Leviathan.
Okay. All right. Leviathan.
Yeah.
It's like a marathon. It's a marathon inside the Leviathan.
Yeah.
But there is the new raid content is they're calling raid layers. So pretty much the way it's going to work is each year in the fall, like with the first release, there's the big raid, and it's like the raid for pretty much the year. And then with each expansion, so this year is a Leviathan, and then the first DLC is going to be a raid layer. The raid layer is going to be in the first DLC. And it's pretty much going to be, the way they described it sounds exactly like a raid, only a little bit shorter and pretty much in the same thematic area. Like, it's not going to be in the same places as that Leviathan took place in, but they pretty much, they went to the door on stream and pretty much they loaded into it, and it was where you load into for Leviathan, but you go forward and there's this big door that when that opens, then you go down. And you go under, and it's like new places, but it's still in the same sort of area. So they can recycle some stuff, which, you know, lets you get pretty much 3 raids in a year instead of 1. Or 1 really good one and 1 really not so great one, like Curse's End. So it lets you get more raids, and I'm happy about it.
Do you consider Leviathan a good raid? Like,
absolutely.
Okay, because I've heard people, I mean, I think it might have been bug related and stuff. I've heard people not liking it very much.
Couple, but really? Where do you hear that?
Mostly Giant Beast Cast, the Polygon, the big outlets seem to not be that down on it. But
that's weird. No, most of the like really into Destiny people, like the Destiny community is really happy with Leviathan, but the problem, everybody's happy with Leviathan itself. The problem, like Reddit has said a billion times, there's a lot of content to do in Destiny 2, but there's not a lot of incentive to go do that content. So in previous hard modes, you would get stuff like Fatebringer or Mythoclast, which is only available in the hard mode of Vault of Glass. But in this prestige mode, all you get is an emblem. And I think there's a different shader, and each challenge mode, all you get is an emblem. There's just no new gear, and even if there was new gear, I don't know if it'd be super enticing, but there's no new gear at all. So it's like I keep trying to convince my friends to play Prestige just because I want to beat it, because it's like the hardest thing in the game. I want to say that I've beaten it, but they're like, what's the point? There's no gear I want. So that's really the problem, is the lack of incentive with this content. But no, Leviathan, I was talking to a friend the other day. It's good. It's not blow you out of the water sequel, like how it's not Vault of Glass 2.0. It's not like, oh wow, this is my new favorite raid. Which is kind of a bummer for a sequel. You know, I wish that it had blown all the other raids out of the water. But it's like, I think in my raid ranking, I put it at number 3. So, out of 5, technically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I have recently fallen off Fallout Shelter. I've played it for a few weeks, and it was like, okay, cool. They added a lot of content since I first played it, and it was cool, but it's still, like, after a certain point, you just kind of see the content and there's no new game features you're unlocking or anything. Like, I've just kind of been maxing out everybody's stats and then was just like, why? So I decided to go back to a game that kind of reminded me of Fallout Shelter, but there was actually a point, and that's RimWorld. RimWorld, I like to describe as like The Sims meets an RTS meets probably Fallout Shelter, where your colonists, survivors, or whatever crash on this planet, and you have to like build a base, a little house for them to survive. You got to mine resources, build electricity for the house, heaters for when it gets cold, air conditioners when it gets warm, and make sure they don't die. Make sure they have weapons so that they can hunt and for when they get attacked, do trading stuff. But the fact that like all of the characters have deep personalities, like each character has 2 backstory traits, both their childhood and their adulthood, which decide how all their stats kind of play out. Like there was a character who his parents fought fires and he saw some very bad like fires and people very hurt by that, and he managed to learn some medicine from that, but now he's very scared of fires. So if a fire starts, he will not try and put it out, but he does have better medicine from that.
That's sad. Oh, poor little kid scarred by fires.
Yeah. And they're like I did, when I was creating this RimWorld playthrough, I did talk to Darian and was like, okay, we're gonna make a Darian character, and she is a psychopath. So when other characters are upset, she is not affected because she doesn't care about anything but herself, and also she has bloodlust. So if she hurts somebody else, that makes her happy.
What was that other funny thing that happened the other day when I was stressed?
Oh, yeah. So there's stuff like, so all of these traits will affect, like, you have to balance how happy they are, because this isn't like Sims where we can just go do this. You can say, hey, I would like these things done, but if they're not in the mood, if they're not the right character, like they're not have the skills or the right characters for that, they won't do it. And what can happen is that they can get so stressed that they will have a mental break, and they'll do something like strip off all their clothes and run outside, hide in their room, or like Darian's character, she just went and ate all of the food we had. She pigged out.
Sounds like me.
Right? I was like, well, that's relatable.
So the like all of the systems this game has, just I can get very, very addicted to it. I am a story gamer, and this game doesn't have a story of its own, but the systems allow very interesting stories to play out. Like, characters will have relations to each other. I created 3 characters at the start, one of which being Darian's character. Another one was these were, I can click random and it'll randomize characters until I get ones I like. And the second one I randomized turned out to have a relationship with Darian's character being her father. So it was Darian, her father, and then a third character that came down. We named the father Shaq, and Shaq ended up marrying this recruiter that joined us. She was getting attacked by raiders, and we saved her. And then, like weirdly enough, Darian's grandpa ends up crashing like from an escape pod and coming down to the planet. And then he joins, and he's like super crabby about everything, and he keeps hitting on Shaq's wife. And I'm like,
Jeez.
that is your son's wife. Like, knock that shit off.
Oh no.
So like, just like the weird stuff, all things can play out. Oh, their like limbs are all part of them. So somebody can have their hand shot off, their arm shot off, their leg shot off. So somebody could be limping because their like leg is injured in some way. So it has all of these systems that can make great stories within it, but no actual, like, you're not playing through a story. So everything's unique. Yeah, great game for if you're into something of that genre. Now, another thing I've done recently, which isn't an actual video game, but me, Darian, and some other friends did an escape room up in the cities. And it has...
The cities?
Twin Cities.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck? You did it in multiple cities? Which cities? Okay, good to know. Okay.
It's part of the enigma.
Yeah, you have to guess the city.
You gotta get there first.
So it has video game elements. It's like you are in a puzzle game because they take you in the room and they give you so we did one where we're in a submarine that apparently the reactor is about to blow, and we're in the water with an enemy sub, so we have to fix...
And we crashed.
Yeah, and we have to fix the missile launcher, take out the enemy ship, and then fix the reactor. And we go in the room, and this chick is
before we run out of oxygen.
Yeah. This chick
fighting, not dying.
Were you guys on an hour timer?
Yeah, we had an hour to do it. So the chick kind of laid out the story and then left the room and just kind of let us mess with the stuff. And they there's stuff around the room to kind of give you a idea of how to solve the puzzles and stuff. Some of the stuff seemed to be a little janky. Like there's a screen on the wall that'll give you the timer. And also, they can give you hints via that. And they were like, look at the sonar! And the three of us were staring at the sonar for minutes.
There was 4 of us just staring at the sonar like, what's gonna happen? Nothing's happening.
If I were you guys, I probably wouldn't have done that, because, I mean, you gotta look and see if you can find something on it. It's not like looking at it is going to activate anything.
No, we had to activate it. You had to turn it on. And so we did, and then she was like, look at the sonar for, the code or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it was just like...
Nothing came.
Nothing is here!
Okay.
Nothing is happening!
She's just like, okay, the code is 322. Whatever. It's like, okay, whatever. Fine. So I think, ignoring the jank, there's definitely, they could learn from video games of helping the player know what to do next, because there were many times that she had to straight up give us hints, because it was there was a blinking light in the corner and we would have no reason to look at that light unless she specifically said, hey, why is that light blinking? We're in a sinking submarine. Of course a light would blink.
Lights are going to be blinking all over the place.
Yeah.
It
turned out the light was blinking out Morse code, but yeah, we wouldn't have a way to know that otherwise. So there's definitely some cool, they can learn from video games a little bit, but it is very cool. It's like being inside a puzzle game where you're actively solving the puzzles and doors open up and stuff based on your actions. It's very cool. So if you've never done an escape room, I recommend doing one. At least a good one. Look up reviews. There's shitty escape rooms.
Yeah, David and I are going back to the cities on Wednesday to see his family for Thanksgiving. And we're thinking about trying to get his family to go and do another escape room.
I would definitely, if you aren't sure about their, puzzle solving abilities, there is rankings.
Right.
So, yeah, start on something easy.
Well, his family's, doctors and lawyers and shit, so... I'm not worried about that.
Okay, because...
They're all
I did one
geniuses.
with my friend Ryan in Nashville once, and it was only me and him, and we got paired up with another group of 3 or something like that. I don't remember. And we were doing stuff, but they were so fast. They did pretty much everything, and we did a little bit, but they were just going ham, and we were like, oh, all right, you guys got this.
That's kind of what I did.
Neat.
I felt like I wasn't contributing.
Holly
was just
actually had the specific things of here's the instructions to fix that, and we're just flipping switches. One of these has to do something.
Yeah.
They had kind of the obvious puzzle solved, working on those, and we were just the dials gotta do. we had the broken puzzles.
These switches gotta do something.
We were staring at the sonar and stuff. Okay, so let's get into the news of the last 2 weeks.
News.
Now, Darian, who is your favorite starter Pokemon from the first generation?
Oh. Squirtle.
Well, that's the wrong answer because it's Bulbasaur.
Squirtle.
And Bulbasaur is going to be a Build-A-Bear Pokemon thing.
It's gonna be a little snuggly monster you can get accessories for because it's not bear-shaped.
Yeah. All Squirtle, Charmander, and Pikachu have already been available to Build-A-Bear, so this completes the collection.
This is exactly what I've always wanted, you know?
Well,
Yeah, I can add it to my collection of other Pokemon Build-A-Bears.
Yeah, totally.
some of us liked Bulbasaur.
I'm not saying I don't
I
like
don't know
Bulbasaur.
who
Please don't.
these people would be.
It's me.
Please don't misunderstand.
Me.
Hey, your mic just got super weird.
Mine?
No, Bryce's. When you got closer to the
Oh, well, it's because he was
camera,
leaning away
yeah,
from it.
you were leaning
His
away
mic's to
from
the
your
left.
mic.
That's funny.
So yeah, that's just a thing. If you're into Bulbasaur, go check that out.
That's pretty neat.
Teddy, you play a fighting game or two.
Not really, but every now and then, sure. Yeah.
Why don't you tell me about some new characters that are coming to...
Here, let's see here. The less interesting one, for me at least, is the fact that Noctis from Final Fantasy 15 is coming to Tekken 7, which I think is pretty... Fighting games, dude, they don't care anymore. They're just like, sure, why not? Bring them over. And that fits in great with the fact that in the next Injustice 2 Fighters Pack, which is Fighters Pack 3, you have, standard DC character, the Atom, right? And Enchantress, from the hit movie Suicide Squad. But you also have, but those two, they make sense, right? But then you also have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that are also coming to Injustice 2. Not necessarily sure why, but I'm down with it. I'm down with it. I'll log in and download those characters and play for 15 minutes.
Yeah, they're not a DC product. They're published by somebody else, but I'm cool with it.
There's one video out there when they announced this, and it was at like some sort of tournament, and it's so good. You guys need to find the video. It's hilarious because it's like it shows up. It's Adam and Enchantress fighting, and then all of a sudden a Sai, like Raphael's Sai, comes out of nowhere and hits on the ground, and then he walks up, but he's in the trench coat and the hat, and he says so, and then he rips it off, and then all of the turtles fly, and they're like, "Yo, what's up?" And the whole crowd is like, "Whoa!" They're like losing their minds. It's awesome.
So
it's pretty neat.
What I find interesting from that trailer is that I can't remember which turtle said, "I've got him," and then Donatello is like, "We fight together." So I'm wondering.
Yeah, no, I imagine it's gonna be all of them as one character.
So it's one character. All four of them are shared by one character. How does that work?
Yeah.
Does different button
In
combos
Injustice
switch
2,
out?
when you press circle, you have specific character powers. Like with Batman, it's like, or let's use Green Arrow as an example. With Green Arrow, you fire different types of arrows, like you fire arrows or ice arrows or electric arrows based on like the directions and circle. Whereas in this, I imagine maybe you're playing directly as Leo, and then you can call in the other dudes do certain abilities, or maybe because Leo's like the leader, or maybe you can press it and in certain ways and it switches to other characters and they have different movesets. Who knows? We shall see.
I still have Injustice 2. I'll play it once in a while if somebody challenges me. But I mean, I would love to play the Turtles. I'm not sure I'd drop money for it, but
I already have the season pass because I'm a sucker, so I'll log in and play for 15 minutes.
So this is unrelated anyway, but here's some more news. The everyone's favorite company, EA, has acquired Titanfall developer Respawn.
You want to know what I thought of this when I saw this news come out?
You were excited.
When I saw this news come out, I went, "Oh, so they didn't already own them. Okay."
Yeah.
I thought EA already owned Respawn. I guess Respawn was technically independent and pretty much just publishing their games.
Yeah, they were just working very closely together. and they just made it official.
Well, a lot of people are like, "Oh no!" In before next week news of Respawn shutting down. But I don't know, man. I think it's all right for now. For now, everybody's calm down. You know, when we see if anything bad happens or good happens from it, then we can react. But for now, they just bought them. It's business deal, you know. So.
No, well, we'll discuss some EA stuff later. But people aren't very excited about that company.
No.
Darian, you have a Nintendo Switch. There's some new stuff you can do with that. Why don't you tell me about that?
Yeah, Nintendo finally, the Switch finally. I'm being professional. Okay, so the Nintendo Switch finally has its first video streaming app officially, and is Hulu. And when I read the title of the article that said first live streaming or first video streaming app comes to the Switch, I was like, all right, let it be Netflix, because I just had to cancel my Hulu subscription. And so this is bittersweet to me, because I was like, yay,
I just got rid of you. How you gonna watch South Park every week? What are you gonna do with that?
I don't, so.
Oh, that's upsetting. That's a problem right there.
The fact that any streaming service has come to the Switch gives me hope that Netflix will come.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I'm kind of surprised Netflix didn't come first, because I feel like it's definitely, it's 100% a much bigger company than Hulu.
Yeah.
But
the fact that we didn't hear about Netflix coming to the Switch at all just made me assume that, like, oh, nothing's coming to the Switch. There's some reason that Nintendo's like not wants it to be a gaming device only or something like that, but I guess not.
Well, yeah, and I'm kind of confused that they didn't just have something on launch. Like, this goes back to the Switch definitely being one of the, like, just too quickly rushed out to release, and
Yeah, there was a lot they should have had at launch. I would throw that out there.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just, I mean, they're making progress, so that's good. It's not progress that I can do much with, but I'm glad they're making progress.
Well, as someone who might have... Do you have Hulu, Teddy?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, as someone who has Hulu, why don't you tell me about a new live-action series you'll be able to watch?
You'll be able to watch a live-action Hitman series, which is being developed for Hulu, which is very interesting. I think Hitman is one of those series that could easily be a show or a movie. Like, that's easily, I mean, it has been.
Bad ones.
But, yeah. But it's like that, I think that could easily lend itself to that. So that'll be interesting. Will I watch it? Probably not, unless it gets really good reviews. Will I watch the Netflix CD Projekt Red Witcher series, which is gonna happen eventually? Absolutely. Bet you bottom dollar I'm gonna watch that.
What does that saying even mean? What's your bottom dollar?
I don't know. It's a good question. I've never really. Oh, bet your bottom. Maybe like the last dollar in your wallet.
Okay.
Bottom dollar. You know, you're. It's the last you got. You know, so it's more important. Bet that.
I mean, if it's your bottom dollar, that would assume there's dollars on top of it.
Everything.
Okay. So yeah, I don't feel one way or another about the Hitman series. I honestly have not played any of the games. I
have never either.
Yeah. I hear the IO one is very good, but
yeah,
I have not played it. Another game I probably won't play unless I hear great reviews is the Harry Potter AR game.
You're gonna play this so hard.
I really so the Pokemon Go creators Niantic announced that they are making a Harry Potter AR game, and there's not very any real details about it. I don't really understand how that game works. It makes complete sense how Pokemon Go works. You go out in the world, you catch the Pokemon. What do you do in a Harry Potter AR game?
Yeah, cast
maybe
spells.
it'll have some sort of a tie-in with the Strange Beasts or whatever.
Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts, and where to find them.
And
So
where
maybe
to find them. The new movie called something with Grindelwald and Crimes. I think it's The Crimes of Grindelwald. I think that's it. Got it, boys. Nailed it.
But I bet it's got something to do with those because that's set in the real world.
Do we really care about the...
Wait. You say Harry Potter originally wasn't set in the real world?
No, I mean...
Because it's set in America. Fantastic Beasts is set in America.
America's the only real world, the Darien.
Harry Potter's set in England.
England's fake.
No.
Fake.
I know what you mean, though. Sort of. No way.
I thought it was like some weird alternate dimension thing.
No, I mean, it was the real world, but they went to Hogwarts, which people couldn't see. The whole thing was that there was magic surrounding the magic, so that people, like, when they saw a flying car, they thought it was a plane. You know what I mean? It's kind of like The Mist in Percy Jackson in the Olympics.
Another book series that I never read. So
I never will because it's bad.
Would you fucking... I'm gonna fight you,
Okay,
dude.
moving on.
I don't know how it's gonna work either.
Yeah.
Does it say anything?
No, there's not really any details, just the fact that it's coming. I think that...
Yes, they're doing it.
I'm not gonna play it.
Yeah.
It says Wizards Unite.
I
like Harry Potter a lot. I'm not gonna play it.
I don't think it will ever be as big as Pokemon Go, even though I think probably more people are into Harry Potter than are into Pokemon at this point.
Maybe. It's definitely debatable.
Yeah, it might be close. But I don't think... The people saw Pokemon Go, they got really excited, they got burnt out, and I think anything else like that, people are going to be very apprehensive about it.
That's because they did a bad job of Pokemon Go.
It's true.
There's just too little too late. Now they're doing, now they have a good base. Now they've got some stuff going. Like a way to keep you active and keep you interested. But they've already lost something like 90% of their player base. So... they should have just made you wait longer or something.
That 90% of their player base was like the entire world. So I'm sure the 10% is still a good amount of people because there were so many people.
There's only 700,000 people left, and there was and that's in the subreddit.
And it's probably dropping every day.
Yeah, they're just. I think I've deleted I think I officially deleted it from my phone. Actually, now that we're on the. Oh no, I got it. I still have it. It sits there in a file that I don't use, but.
I reinstalled it when I had to hang around a town waiting for someone to meet me, but I never play it, so it's whatever.
Every once in a while, when I go downtown, I'll be like, "Oh yeah, this has a lot of Pokestops." And I'll open it, and that's it.
I cannot tell you the last time I opened that app.
I really need to get the
Here's
plus
how you get
accessory.
Me to play. You don't require me to go places. But then that's not the same game. So you got no chance with me.
They have a DS game for you, Teddy. It's just called
thanks.
Pokemon.
Yeah, it's true. That's a good one. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one, and not this one because I can sit at home or wherever because DS is portable. That's pretty cool, too.
I do not think the Harry Potter game will ever make as much money as the Pokemon Go did at its launch.
Will anything ever make as much money? Pokemon Go is very lucrative.
Maybe if you play a lot of PlayStation games, you might. Teddy?
Oh.
Nope. That's a big fat no.
Teddy, why don't you tell me about that?
Sony... has a thing. Let me open this up right here. Let me actually also open the website. There's a program that when you log in, I think it's just Sony Rewards, you can rack up points. The only problem with this is that it's not retroactive, but you can rack up points depending on your trophies that can then eventually you can turn the points in for actual PlayStation Store credit or games and stuff like that. Which apparently at some point, it's not retroactive, but apparently at some point I had signed up for it. So I have 4,000 points, which is $40.
Nice.
2,000 points is $20 on the store. But I went to do it. And then it was shipping costs and, or not costs, but it was shipping time. And I was like, oh, you're mailing me the codes? so I did not go through with it. But maybe that was just I don't know. But I'll try it eventually. I mean, even if it's mailing it to me, I still want it. But I was just gonna use it on something. But if I couldn't use it instantly, then I was like, eh. So yeah, it's pretty cool. You can get different games and movies and stuff, but it's a bummer that it's not retroactive. But if it was retroactive, people would log in and be like, oh, hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
But
I have all of the money.
yeah,
But
it's pretty neat though.
It definitely will incentivize people to stay within the PlayStation system, to buy games on PlayStation that they might play on PC or something else, so that they can get the trophies that'll turn into money, which will allow them to get other games.
I'm not sure this is going to persuade anyone to do that. I think this is just going to make trophy hunters give them a little bonus. You know, I don't think this is going to make anyone into trophy hunters or like stay on the platform, because it's very little money, and to get 2,000 points takes a lot. To get $20 on the store takes a lot, so it's just a little bonus.
Yeah, I think one platinum will equal $1. So you would have to spend a lot of time. But
Didn't
if
it
you
say whoa.
So
oh yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, you
one
have
platinum is it? Okay.
You have to
But
turn
the
them
thing
in groups.
Also, everyone also forgets that like getting a platinum gets you also all the other trophies, which also equal different amounts of money. So it's not like you're completely just like breaking even where you get 10 platinums, $10, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So is it a coupon like $10 off of a particular
it's
purchase,
literally
or is it
a $20 PlayStation Store card?
so I can use that to pay for like PlayStation Plus?
Yes.
Good. Technically.
Yeah. And this is a free thing, so if anyone has a PlayStation, you should probably sign up for Sony Rewards.
Yeah, definitely go to Sony Rewards and just sign up, and then, you know, just let your points build, and then 5 years be reminded about it, and then be like, oh.
Right before this program shuts down, then you can go in there and, and cash it out.
And before they stealth shut it down.
I remember about that.
Just Nintendo.
You know something that did shut down recently? Marvel Heroes. Now
which is actually very sad, because I enjoy that game.
Oh, really?
On a casual basis, yeah.
I have seen it. I've never played it. What was that game like?
It was fun. It's like it is still technically live until December 31st is when they're shutting off the servers. And at a certain point, I don't know if it says here, but at a certain point they're gonna make all of the content free, so you can just play around with it before it shuts down, which is really cool. I might actually log in then, but it's pretty much like Diablo, but with Marvel characters. It's really fun. There's like it's a very cheesy little story, but it's just grinding up. Like I was playing Star-Lord, you know, and I was like, oh, maybe one day I'll get Spider-Man, I'll get Spooder-Man, you know, I'll be running around the cities and, you know, beating up bad guys. It's fun. It's a nice little gameplay loop, but yeah, Gazillion Entertainment is being shut down. The game's being shut down, which is a bummer, but like I said, I do like the idea that you can play with all of the stuff, because getting all of the stuff, like all the characters and all that, would have taken a lot of time in game or a lot of money. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's a bummer. They've gone through a lot of different iterations of the game over the years, and it finally came to console, I think, this year. But yeah, rest in peace, Marvel Heroes. We'll never forget you. DC Universe Online forever. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. It's a bad joke. They're also two very different genres.
Yeah. It seemed weird that it seemed like Marvel Heroes was just now getting big with its console releases, and then suddenly gone.
Yeah, it surprised me as somebody who hadn't really been following the game like closely, or the community. It surprised me when I heard that. I was like, oh, really? I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So they'll probably be seeing a lot of layoffs due to that game closure, just like Telltale Games, which has laid off 25% of their workforce.
Yeah.
Darian, why don't you tell me about that?
I mean, is there more to say?
Yes, they make video games. They are the creators of the Walking Dead series. What other games has Telltale made?
Wolf
Minecraft
Among Us,
story
Guardians
mode?
of the Galaxy, Batman Season 2 now. Did you say Tales from the Borderlands?
No. The really bad Game of Thrones one.
Yeah. That will affect 90 people. So, yes, 4 times that equals what they used to have. Which they used to be a very small studio.
They were a very small studio. They saw a lot of success
After Walking Dead.
and they grew and started releasing a billion projects. Also, Minecraft Story Mode. Just remembered that one.
I said that.
They started releasing a bunch of projects really quickly in comparison to what they used to do. And there's been a lot of interviews with people who've been laid off and whatnot, and pretty much just being like, "Yeah, we scaled up too fast. Like it was kind of misdirection. Like they grew too quickly and didn't handle it well," which is a bummer. But I think for their games overall, this is going to be good news. I mean, of course, whatever the phrase is, thoughts and prayers to everybody affected. But yeah, to all the people who are affected by the layoff, that really sucks. But I think for the company overall and for the games they put out, it's going to be really good news in the long run.
Yeah, it says that they are going to move to more proven technologies that will fast-track innovation in its core products, which I think that has been a complaint with the games for a while, is that their engine just didn't seem to be that great.
Their engine's bad.
Yeah.
It's a bad engine.
So it sucks that they had to... I mean, they definitely need to slow down because they were pushing very, very hard. So hopefully these people who are laid off will be able to find work elsewhere, and Telltale can kind of find a way to get back on track with what made them great in the first place, like great games like the original Walking Dead. Darian, what do you think outsold the PS4 and Xbox in October?
The Atari.
I don't think it
Sega
was.
Master System.
Was it the Sega Genesis? Was it the
Nintendo
Sega
64.
Dreamcast?
I hate
Let me
you
guess.
all.
Hold on, let me guess. Hold on, it's the Nintendo Virtual Boy?
Yes, they brought it back. They saw how everybody loves VR now, and they're like, bringing the Virtual Boy back.
Do you wonder if Nintendo ever actually brought VR, like did a VR thing? Do you think they would name it something along the lines of like Virtual Boy? Do you
No.
think they would try and
I
go to
think
that
that it would
brand?
be.
That would-
I
They
don't
should
think
do
they
Virtual
would, but
Boy
that would be
2.
hilarious if they did.
I would love to see, like, that would be so confusing for, like,
No,
searches.
just the Virtual Boy 2. It's the sequel. It's bigger, better.
Yeah, exactly.
Call it the Virtual Boy U. Like the Wii U. Okay. Anyway, the SNES Classic outsold the PS4.
Oh, is that what you were trying to get at?
Yes, Darian, yes.
It's in the outline. There's an article about the
That you brought.
Oh yeah, she brought the article. Oh my god. Well, guys.
What can you tell me about that, Darian? What are your thoughts on that situation?
I don't know. That's pretty chill. I hope that it encourages them to keep it in store
Pretty
longer. It's pretty chill.
Is like pretty chill your highest like remarks? Like if
one of
something
them.
or someone is pretty chill, that's like the best.
Pretty chill is like, yeah, high marks. Like, it's doing good.
I will say that it's interesting that one of these classic devices is outselling actual consoles.
It is one of the things where it's way cheaper as well.
Yeah.
You know.
And
Also-
also
Yeah.
people
Period entry.
are probably rushing to buy it due to the fact that they're worried about it being sold out. Whereas for the PS4 and Xbox One, people are probably waiting on Black Friday sales.
Yeah. I mean, it is Is this is for the month of November, right? Or October?
October.
Okay, never mind. We will see
Yeah.
next month with the Xbox One X. Yeah. Because that came out this month. November 17th, I think. So, yeah.
Didn't it come... What? The One X?
Yeah.
I thought it came out last week.
That would be in November. This is November.
I think it was Friday. I don't know.
Okay, then.
We're going to get Darian on the fact-checking
Okay, you look into that, Darian. While Teddy...
I just had a really long conversation about, like, a lot of stuff, like Destiny and stuff with one of my regulars, and another person who was listening and piped in, and she's like, oh, yeah, it came out yesterday. I work in retail, so I know. And I'm just like, okay.
Interesting.
But she might be wrong. She might have misheard us or something.
Okay. Well, Teddy... Why don't you tell me about Take-Two's view of the future of gaming?
They had a quote. Let me find real fast who quoted this. It is the Take-Two Interactive CEO, Strauss Zelnick, said, we've said that on the... well, I'll just let the quote speak for itself. It says, we've said that we aim to have recurrent consumer spending opportunities for every title that we put out at this company. It may not always be an online model. It probably won't always be a virtual currency model, but there will be some ability to engage in an ongoing basis with our titles after release across the board. So they are saying microtransactions will be in all their future games.
Now, the fact that they say it's not always online and not virtual consoles could just mean DLC.
Yeah.
Because DLC would be something people can buy after the game's release. So
yeah.
But yeah, it does seem that they're not going to be like, the game's out, let's move on. But yeah, it definitely points towards microtransactions, which is definitely a huge part of Grand Theft Auto Online. We'll have to see on other, like Red Dead Redemption, we'll have to see what they do there. But at the time, microtransactions and reconcurrent consumer spending is definitely the way trends are going.
Just like in a little game called Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Which brings us to the topic of the show.
Nailed it. Dunked it. Slam it into the basket. Anyways, so yeah.
Okay, so EA's Star Wars Battlefront 2 has been making news in the last few weeks due to its manipulative loot crate and character unlock methods. Between the changing of hero prices between the review copies of the game and consumer copies, requiring at least 40 hours of gameplay to unlock a single hero, and the consumer outrage due to all of this, causing them to remove the ability to buy currency with real money. What do you think caused EA to go down this path for the game? And is the outrage towards the developers deserved? Teddy, start us off.
Well, what do you think caused EA to go down this path for their game? There are multiple different... You can pretty much be on two different sides of the fence for this one, such as, oh, they're greedy, money hungry, they just want money, or they don't care about the consumer, or there's the other side that's like, I think maybe they genuinely did want it to be a grind to get heroes, because in the first game a lot of people said that there wasn't much content and there wasn't really much to do. There was a lot of complaints with that in the first game, and they were like, we'll make the grind long. I am somewhere in between because I don't think that they were doing this, thinking this is for the consumer. I also don't necessarily think that it's greed, which a lot of people think is the case. I think that EA was honestly trying to push just to see how far they could get with their transactions, see what lines they could cross before they had to back up. And They did back up finally, but I thought it was very interesting that they were really sticking with this for a long time, because if they were like experimenting with this and really seeing how far they could go, you would think they would be ready to just be like, no, back. So I think they were, I think there's definitely some merit to saying that. A little bit agreed. Definitely some merit there. And yeah, is the outrage justified? Little bit, yeah. Because like I mean, if you guys don't know me, if you don't watch my streams or anything, my stance on microtransactions is that it is almost always okay if it is cosmetic only and does not affect gameplay. There are many games that do that right. There are a ton of games that do that right that are free, that you can look at as an example. But as soon as it affects gameplay, like in Destiny 1, for example, originally when they unveiled microtransactions, it was emotes, and then soon they, at a certain point, were you could get from like these boxes that you could buy the boxes or you could earn them, you could get specific sets of armor. But when you got the armor from Eververse, it dropped at like light level 3, so you had to infuse it. It wasn't like you could straight up buy it and the light system would give you stronger gear. You had to infuse it. But they still had, if I'm remembering correctly, it still had intellect, discipline, and strength rolls. Not 100% sure. It's been 2 years, or like 2 or year and a half, since this was a big thing. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they had intellect, discipline, and strength rolls, which aren't major parts of the gameplay, but if you really wanted to, you could either grind and get specific armor to get your tier 12 intellect, discipline, strength set, or you could just pay a bunch of money. But even then, it's random, and who's really doing that when it's really easy to get a tier 12 set, or it was. So that is like, honestly, that right there is like, just make the armor drop without the int disc and strength rolls, like, just because even that, like, that's, if it was just the armor and cosmetic, that'd be cool, you know, like even that, which is very minor, just no, I'm not for that. So yeah, it's, if you could buy a bunch of money, get a bunch of characters, get a bunch of these cards that like make your stats better than other players who haven't played as much or paid as much, I think that's real bad. I think that's real bad. That doesn't make me want to play the multiplayer, because I think that somebody could just crap on me when I haven't played a bunch, and I'm not for it. I think the outrage is justified, but like saying, "Hey, no, this is not okay," that's justified. You know, death threats or anything horrible is not. Or the other is okay. That's the death threats and all that is not okay.
Darian, the review copies had the price of characters 6 times cheaper than the consumer copies. Do you think that meant that EA knew what they were putting out there, what the what the consumer copies were going to have, was a bad thing, and they were trying to hide that?
I don't know. I'm confused by your question.
Okay, so it cost 1,000, or was it 10,000?
10,000.
Was 10,000 for the characters, 60,000 in the regular game.
Yes. So it was much cheaper when people were reviewing it. So thus they're going to have a certain opinion on the game of like, oh, the prices seem fine. It wasn't that hard to get the characters. But when it actually comes out, it's much worse. So do you think that they knew that they were going to, if they actually put out the legit prices that people were going to have to pay, the reviewers would give them bad reviews, and thus they changed the numbers to hide it because they knew that people would hate it?
I don't know if that was necessarily their reaction, or their I don't know that was necessarily their intention. I don't think they were trying to affect... I mean, obviously when you're reviewing, that's something you might take into effect, like, oh, the character costs are, not so bad as a reviewer, but it might also be the inverse. Like, maybe they're just like, well, we want you to be able to play the characters sooner while you're reviewing. So, you know, someone takes a week to play my game. I want them to be able to get as much content quickly so they can review all of it. I don't think they necessarily released the cheaper things or the cheaper characters in the review copies to affect their opinion of the pricing as much as being able to get them more content quicker to review more of the content.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think people have pointed that out. I think if you're going to do that, that should have been something they said up front.
Yeah, they should have been more transparent with it, one way or the other. Have they released an official statement as far as that part goes?
Not to my knowledge. I think
they've released many official statements for other things, such as when they went on Reddit and got the most downvoted Reddit comment of all time, which I don't actually have pulled up anymore. I closed it at a certain point, so if anybody else has it, they can read it. But it was bad. It's up to minus 675,000 downvotes. And I think the other highest downvoted comment, like the one that it beat, was like 3,000. It was like in the thousands, not hundreds of thousands. And this one
the second one is 24,333.
And this is 675,000.
Yeah, 675,000. That's crazy. They fucked up. So it says the intent to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes. As for cost, we selected initial values based upon data from the open beta and other adjustments made to milestone rewards before launch. Among other things, we're looking at average per player credit earn rates on a daily basis, and we'll be making constant adjustments to ensure that players have challenges that are compelling, rewarding, and of course, attainable via gameplay. We appreciate the candid feedback and the passion the community has put forth around the current topics here on Reddit, our forums, and across numerous social outlets. Our team will continue to make changes and monitor community feedback and update everyone as often as we can. Update everyone as soon and as often as we can.
Which is a bad statement.
Yeah, that's
because they were pretty much being like, "Hey man, we thought that it wasn't like we did tests. It's not going to be 40 hours." Like that was pretty much being like, "Oh, our internal test said that it's not 40 hours, so like something might be wrong with you guys' tests." Like, and they weren't. Eventually, multiple days later, they straight up came out on Twitter and removed all of the microtransactions for now, at least temporarily, which is like, I can't believe it took them days to do that. Like, I can't believe that if it's so weird, because if they had the power to do that, right, if they had the authority and the ability to remove all microtransactions temporarily, why couldn't they just say, we are removing anything that affects gameplay from because that's all anyone was asking. I know a lot, like most everybody was just like, just take the characters out, like just be cosmetics, right? All they could have been like, we're taking out all the stat cards, all the characters, anything that affects gameplay, taking that all out, right? You can only earn that through playing. The rest of it's cosmetic and they're in the boxes. Like, I don't get why they couldn't have done that a day and a half in instead of like 3 or 4 days. And then they were like, we're taking it all. It's weird.
Some people have a theory that Disney is the reason they stopped it. That like EA would have kept trucking, but Disney was like, this is a bad for Star Wars. You're not going to ruin Star Wars.
Don't fuck with Star Wars, man.
Yeah. So Disney came in and said, knock that shit off. And they're the reason.
I think it's a reasonable theory.
Yeah. So I think we've basically said our piece about
overall it's bad. I'm glad that they eventually did come out and say that they're removing it. But overall, just a bad idea. Like, I don't know how they thought that was going to go any different.
I think they knew it was going to go badly, and they just tried it anyway.
just underestimated how badly it's gonna go.
They just thought, oh, people would be a little upset, but it would all work out. But it was like, no, people hate this.
Yeah.
That brings us to the questions. Do you want to be part of the show? Go to readysetgamecast.com/submit to submit a question, comment, or your favorite color of hair for us to read on the show.
Green. That's a lie. Don't ever do that.
Teddy, if we get enough people in, Teddy will dye his hair green.
No. No, thank you. No, thank you, please.
That would look amazing on green screen.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, I would just be bald.
You'd like have like a see-through head. It would be so, especially if you do your beard too.
I don't like it.
Now Yuri sent in a lot of questions for us to read, so let's get started. Do you guys exercise or have a gym routine? Darian?
No.
Teddy?
No.
Me either.
We're all unhealthy slobs. Next question.
I do have a gym membership, and I am trying to get into the mind space to go to the gym. But every time I go to the gym, I basically have a panic attack. So I'm like, because everybody that's there knows what they're doing and has been doing it forever, and it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym.
That's what you always think.
Pound some weights,
just as many people there who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, but I know that I'd be one of those people that you take a picture or video of, like, yeah, this is how this machine works, and it's completely wrong and doesn't make any sense, and I'm just like, that's not, nope. No. Also, I run weird, so I can't just like go and be on the treadmill because I run weird. Yeah.
We're gonna need a video of you on a treadmill just so we can see that you run.
So we can make fun of you.
Yeah. I don't exercise.
She just likes to throw away her money on a gym membership. Next question.
And cute gym clothes.
I used to work out when I was in high school, and I actually enjoy lifting weights, but lifting weights is not what I actually need to do. What I need to do is cardio and eat right, and fuck that. Because goldfish. Anyway.
Do you like in-game music or listening to your own music / podcasts, etc. when playing games? Teddy?
Of course, when you're going through a narrative-based game for the first time, you're not going to turn off the music and start listening to Skrillex, you know? No, I mean, a lot of the games, I like podcasts a lot. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I enjoy music from time to time. But so a lot of the games I play are really gameplay focused, and a lot of them are grindy. And when it's a grindy game, it's perfect for music and for podcasts like such as World of Warcraft. That's what I a couple of nights ago, I think it was Thursday night, I got off stream and I played for like an hour, and I just like listened to a podcast and watched on my left monitor, and then just grinded out, did some quests, ran around, because like it's just good for it. So yeah.
I was trying to figure out how to point to you.
Down.
Yeah, down.
Oh wait, yours is different than mine.
Darian is right there for me. Bryce is right over there.
Teddy's down.
This is Teddy.
Yeah, Teddy's below you. For me. Darian, what about you?
Most of the time it depends on the game. Like if I'm playing Cuphead, I'm not listening to other music. I'm listening to Cuphead. But if I'm playing like League or if I'm playing League, I'm listening to music, just in Pandora or whatever. But if I'm playing like PUBG, I'm not listening to any music.
Gotta listen for those footsteps.
Depends on the game. Yeah, gotta listen for them footsteps, and soon gonna have to listen for those windows being shattered and people vaulting through them.
Yeah. For something like RimWorld, something that the game music doesn't really matter. Like some of these games, like RimWorld has great music, and I'll probably listen to it for a while. But you play enough of a game, you heard the music, and you want to listen to something else.
In Destiny, the first one, they did not have a mute music option for like a year and a half. Like it took them a long time to put it. Eventually, they're like, "You can mute the music now," and I was like, my life has changed. Because I would listen to it, but I would listen to the sound of the game. I would put the game sound very low, so I just heard gunshots, and the music that was there was very quiet, and then I would overpower it with my own music. But even then, it would still clash every now and then, and I was like, oh, stop it. And it was very annoying.
Next question. Are you guys going to PSX? I am not.
Nope.
No.
That's one of those conferences that even if I wanted to, I couldn't, because every year PSX is during finals week. So, like, not gonna just miss all my finals.
Oh, rip.
PSX is in December, and that is the month that I barely can do anything. Definitely cannot travel. Last question from Yuri. What is your favorite gaming snack? Darian.
PGOs.
What?
They're peach-flavored gummy rings.
Oh, I think I've heard of those.
Oh, that's not what I expected that answer to be. Okay, interesting. I didn't expect the answer to be anything, but I didn't know that snack existed, so...
Now you
right.
do. I mean, if PGOs aren't there, whatever else I got. But PGOs.
Just food. Just want some food. What about you, Teddy?
I've seen these before. Okay, I know what PGOs are.
It's my favorite candy of all time.
I've definitely seen those before.
Delicious.
I don't eat when I play games. I don't like getting garbage on my controller, on my keyboard. I don't do that. But, like, I eat sometimes, you know, like, I end stream, watch a couple YouTube videos, eat a snack, and then I go play a game, you know. If we're just talking about favorite snack to just munch on around the house, of course, goldfish. But other than that, I get some Pop-Tarts, you know. I'm pretty much just ultra unhealthy. Nothing I eat would ever be any healthy sort of snack. Cereal,
did you say
Pop-Tarts,
popcorn?
Little Debbie's. Popcorn's great too. When I run out of goldfish, popcorn's like my salty snack. Like a microwave bag popcorn, so yeah.
I'm the same way that, like, I don't, like, want to get Dorito dust on my keyboard or controller or anything. If it's something like super slow like RimWorld where I can just use the mouse, I might eat pizza with my other hand. But for the most part, I'm not eating while gaming. Like, that requires too much concentration in both your hands.
I'm just a fucking slob and will eat constantly. Like, I don't give a shit what I'm doing. I've spilled food into my keyboard before.
That's horrifying.
And I'm just like,
I'm clinically
whatever,
OCD. It triggers.
I'll pop my keys out, clean it out every once in a while, but I'm just like, whatever. Like, I'm eating right now.
Horrifying. You're gonna have nightmares. Thanks a lot,
Darian, why don't you read the next question?
You got it. This is from Snowmar. And he asked, which one is better? Mario, Link, or Samus? And why? Also, be prepared to back up your argument.
In case we're challenged.
Which one is better? That's like such a weird question.
So which one's better, Teddy?
Minkmas. All of them.
Minkmas can defeat all enemies.
My personal favorite out of them would be Link, I guess. I don't know. Because he looks cool. You know, I like the Mario games maybe a little bit more than Zelda games because I've only played a couple of Zelda games and I've played more Mario games. But, like, Link looks dope. And my favorite color is green. So, works out. Works out great. And he's like a warrior, you know, get up there in front, you know. He would be a protection warrior in World of Warcraft. Got that shield, got the sword. Or he could also be a hunter. He's got the bow as well. Pretty cool. Versatile.
Mario, because he's everything. He's been a doctor, a race car driver.
Oh, that's true. He has been a lot of things.
So played golf, did it all. He's probably been
tennis.
both. He's probably been both Samus and Link at some point. We just haven't played those. Like, you take off Samus's outfit. It's really Mario in there.
Zero Suit Samus is actually Mario.
Yeah. How about you, Darian?
Surprise. That's the new Metroid game. Plot twist at the end. Yeah.
Just at the end, she just freezes.
Takes off the helmet and then, Woohoo!
That's the alternate ending, though.
Yeah.
You get 5,000 moons in Mario Odyssey, and you go to the Metroid planet.
Damn. That's a lot of moons.
How about you, Darian? Which is best? Which is best boy, girl?
Best boy, because it's a non-gender specific term now, thanks to the McElroys. I don't have a personal preference for, like, I don't have an attachment to Link or Samus at all. I don't think I've definitely never played a Metroid game. I've probably played like an hour total of any Legend of Zelda game ever. I've played a lot.
That's very upsetting.
Well, I didn't have the fun stuff growing up.
I
was
didn't
a lot into
I didn't play any of them
growing
growing
up.
up. The only time I played my first Zelda that I played, other than Skyward Sword, which I played like 8 hours of or something when I was younger. That's just not a fan of it. I don't know if it even, like, it just doesn't count. We're gonna forget that. The first real, like, Zelda game I played was Ocarina, and I played it literally the December, like, Christmas time of 2015, like 2 years ago. I got a 3DS and played it there, and then I played Breath of the Wild, so it's never too late.
Like, I have
to apologize.
Ocarina of Time, and I also have the Majora's Mask on the 3DS. But
that is a picture that Bryce took with his Polaroid thing before this started, and yeah, he's proud of it. I guess.
Picture. I'm gonna have to pick Sonic.
Sonic?
Yes.
It's not one of the options.
Yeah, that wasn't one of the options.
I made it one of the options.
Okay,
Mario,
you know what?
Link, or Samus? Okay, fine.
Or Sonic.
We're going with that. It's Sonic.
Okay.
Anyways.
Sonic wins.
Yeah, Sonic wins. Congratulations. He wins at the Olympic Games.
That brings us to the end of the show. Remember, go to ReadySetGamecast.com for links to the podcast on all of your favorite services, including iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, as well as the video version on YouTube. YouTube.com/LastGeek. If you like the show, please subscribe, rate, and review it on Stitcher and iTunes. It helps us grow and become more powerful.
Shut off those guns.
If people wanted to hear more from you, where would people go, Darian?
Twitch.tv/dexterity. DEXTERIDEE. Same spelling. Find me on Twitter and Instagram. And Facebook. Probably YouTube. You can find me on YouTube there too. But not / You just have to search my username. I'm not powerful enough to have that.
What about you, Teddy?
Twitch.tv/Teddy Chinaris or Twitter.com/Teddy Chinaris, and also you can look on YouTube, but like she said, you have to search it. So
yes, search
Teddy Chinaris. But yeah, you know, Mondays through Thursdays 7 to 11 Central, Fridays and Saturdays 10 to 12 on the good old Twitch, and be sure to show up Monday, November 27th for the Worms tournament, because it's going to be a ton of fun. And if you don't, I might actually try and upload that to YouTube, so be on the lookout for that. You can also find me in your mom's basement. Bryce, how about you?
What the What's that? Okay.
Just letting you know.
Just letting you know. I mean, be on the lookout.
Okay, man.
Hide your kids. Hide your wife.
I used to love that video.
Twitter,
You know what, I still do.
Last Geek, Instagram, Last Geek Plays, Twitch.tv/Last Geek Plays, YouTube/Last Geek. That's probably good. LastGeek.com. That's probably get you most
Clubpenguin.com/LastGeek. WordPress.com/LastGeek.
That might actually be. I mean, all my stuff is WordPress, so. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you for another awesome episode of Ready Set Gamecast, and we will see you again in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.